Okay, so here I'm going to try and quickly run through our Mill Hill job. We completed this in 2018, I think. Same architects as our Bushy job and actually our Boreham Wood job. We like working with them, fantastic drawings, great level of detail in the design. So this is a quick overview, the original house, and we're adding a little extension to form a boot room and to extend the kitchen and the lounge to make a dining area. This was all glazed and to be clad in copper. So the extension itself probably seems, to say, quite pedestrian, but because of the detail, the glazing and the copper, it was anything but. The house actually was only about 10 years old. It was a new build house, so it was all block and beam, which added to the complexity just because of the additional weight. Also, the clients were going to they lived in the house for the entire duration of the project, so we needed to demolish this whole rear elevation, and they were going to use the house, so we had to build some internal partitions to separate the dust and the dirt and the noise so that they could use the house. We put a window in there so they could see what was going on and get some sunlight through to the back of the house. So as I said, this whole section was going to be extended, the old patio taken out and extended as well. Actually, it wasn't extended, it was just shortened. So let me come through. That was the old rear of the house, and this was the extension. So it was complicated for a number of reasons. One was the steel work to do this extension. There was a post here, some beams to hold up the house, another beam across here, a post here, a beam here, and a beam here, and another beam across back to this post. I actually learned a lot from this project and took it forward to the Bushy Heath job. As I've said, this was my transition into 3D. So I've got some 3D drawings which I'll show you, but nothing to the degree of what I did at the Bushy Heath job. And I wish I'd have done that here. It would have been a lot easier, but obviously that I learned from this job, and that's why I started to use it more. And a lot of the build systems I used here are refined and used at that other job. So here was the extension. The particular house was at the bottom of a hill, so the whole garden was completely waterlogged. When we were doing the foundations, it was an absolute nightmare. The foundations were about 2 meters deep, and the whole trench every night filled up to the top with water. That's how much water there was on this site. We had to pump it every day to keep it open. It also caused all of the existing patio to collapse, which was obviously dangerous for the clients, dangerous for us to work on and working in the trenches. So it was very difficult when and also setting out the steels and the posts and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be pictures of the finished project. This one came out absolutely beautiful with the copper and the glass. So here are just the architect's drawings. I think I've got, so the steelwork, as said, because I wasn't proficient in 3D, I had my steel guys. So I've used the same steel company for many years now, Pacific Steel in Watford. They're absolutely fantastic if you need good steel guys. Nathan pulled these dimensions off the structural engineer's drawings and set all of this out for me. So then on site, I could adjust all of these. So I amended all of the details and dimensions as required, gave them back, and then he was able to fabricate everything. As I've said, and if you've watched any of the other videos, when I did the more complicated steel job, he just pulled all the dimensions, used my model, the 3D model, so you can see how that would have been a lot easier to work with. What have I got here? I've got so the footings, this was the only real 3D model I did on this job, and this was the footings for the extension. Looks a bit unusual. These outrigger sections were to support the drainage channel for the glazed doors, as they need support. They are fixed to the door itself, but they do need supporting. There are a number of ways to do this. In the end, this seemed to be the most proficient, as I could get all of my blocks at exactly the same height and tie it all together. In retrospect, what I learned from this job is it's actually more efficient to cast all of this in concrete, to get everything perfect and level. It's far quicker and far more accurate, and that is what I did on the Bushy Heath job. So I think I may have some sketches here, if you bear with me. Sorry, I've got on the foundations, I want to see if I've got the footing details. There we go. So as I said, this is how I used to work previously, doing my 2D drawings, the footing details. Obviously, you can see the difference between this and the 3D renders, certainly. Level of detail. I also did a couple more models on this job, kind of to practice and obviously for the benefits. This is an existing utility room that the wife wanted to look and see if she could we could redesign it to get it to fit everything she wanted in there. Ultimately, this is the only way everything would fit, and you can see from this model it's certainly not ideal, no access to these cupboards. So in the end, I think the room was left, which was a good thing. It's certainly worse to have started to build this and then to have a problem when the client sees the finished product and not to be happy. So much easier to do a drawing. This was some bespoke steel work. Again, my steel guys, we needed to form a skylight in the block and beam floor, which is not the easiest thing in the world. And this is a steel sort of hanger as a trimmer to form the opening. So I was able to model this and pulled all the dimensions. And again, I sent this off to my steel fabricators, and they were able to fabricate those for me. So I'll show it here. So this was a skylight. See, so this was the original house, ended here. This was what the skylight we added. There was already a lantern light in the kitchen. The client's bedroom was above here, and there was a small balcony, and they wanted a walk-on skylight just to get more light through into the house. So this was the opening we needed to form in the block and beam. So yeah, it was a challenging project. All these details on the lights, recessed blind boxes, details at the doors, certainly keeps us on our toes. I do love all of this complicated stuff, I have to say. We did some exposed concrete steps with recessed lights. You'll see a lot of this in the pictures. So another one came out beautiful. I know I keep saying that, obviously I'm biased, but another one of our jobs that we really enjoyed.